New Orleans Hornets rookie Anthony Davis has seen his life advance at hyper speed over the past 2 years. Before being selected first overall in this year's NBA draft, Davis, just a freshman, led the Kentucky Wildcats to an NCAA championship. This summer, he won a gold medal as the youngest member of the undefeated USA men's Olympic basketball team. But even after accomplishing so much, Davis is now facing a new set of challenges, having to prove himself all over again. Not only must he prove he can compete at the NBA level, but also that he can adjust to a new life off the court. Already, Davis has gotten a small taste of the challenges that come with being a world-renowned NBA star. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old.
19 years old. You just signed a guaranteed contract worth a little more than $16 million, with just over $5 million being paid in the first year. How has this sudden wealth affected or changed your life?
It haven't really changed my life or affected me. Yes, I have money, but I'm still the same person I was before I got all this money. And I think that's the most important thing, trying to stay the same. Money changed a lot of people.
Has it changed the people around you at all?
Most definitely.
How?
Definitely. I have guys that I haven't talked to in years come ask me for money. Family members that I haven't talked to in a long time come ask me for money. People always think, I'm like the provider now, for them and their families, or Anthony, can I get a couple $1,000? Anthony, can I get this? Can I get that? Can I get a car? Can you buy my family a house?
How do people approach you? See, how do they go about asking for that?
They don't ask me. They come to my parents. They ask my parents or even ask my sisters or my grandma, ask them.
Like Davis, many of the rookies coming into the NBA this year have similar stories of long-lost loved ones and all-too-present hangers-on, and they can never get too much good advice about how to deal with it all. It's the very reason for the NBA's Rookie Transition Program, a required 3-day symposium that serves as the NBA's version of a college new student week orientation. But in this very special case, addressing everything from how to assemble a financial team to dealing with groupies and family members who expect loans and financial handouts. I talked with 3 other top NBA rookies about their transitions as well. Kansas star Thomas Robinson, drafted by the Sacramento Kings, University of Florida sharpshooter Bradley Beal, who now plays for the Washington Wizards, and Florida State big man Bernard James, now of the Dallas Mavericks. These are all young men who have overcome their fair share of personal challenges just to achieve their NBA dream. I also talked with one of their most important advisors, former NBA player Mike Bantam, the NBA's Senior Vice President of Player Development. A big part of his job is to help players make the most out of their NBA experience. He's one of the transition program's organizers and speakers. We talked at the conclusion of the transition program in Florham Park, New Jersey.
The program is really to try and help them understand how their life is going to change in a lot of different ways. There's going to be a lot more scrutiny on their lives as far as being celebrities. The newfound wealth is going to be a problem because most of them don't have any experience in handling money. And there's going to be a lot of people that are targeting them because they're now going to be wealthy. And then there's the challenge of just being successful as an athlete. So with all those pressures, we try to impress upon them in this program that you have resources, you have people who are here to help you understand what the issues are, how to meet those challenges, and we have resources in place that you can go to at any time.
What is the challenge of dealing with that when you come in with such a young group of people? Guys sitting down that are 19 years old that didn't even finish college. They did their first year and went right into the NBA. Is it more difficult to get through to people that age?
Well, it is, but I think that for the most part what I've found is that they know that they don't know. They're like young pups. They come in here, they're very wide-eyed, and they're looking for information. They're looking for somebody to help guide them.
Already, some of these young men have acquired a decade's worth of life experience, even though none of them have come close to 30. Some, in fact, use the challenges they faced outside of basketball as inspiration to make it to the NBA. Like Thomas Robinson, who decided to forego his last year of eligibility at Kansas to head to the NBA. He left school a year early after encountering the worst tragedy of his life in a span of 25 days. It's well known that in a span of 25 days, you lost 3 family members. Your grandmother, your grandfather, your mother, leaving pretty much you and your 9-year-old sister, Jayla. So what was the process like going through being drafted and everything, thinking about your family and taking care of your sister?
It was painful. You know what I mean? I enjoyed the process. Like, I enjoyed draft night, but I had a flashback, you know, like in the matter of me walking from my chair to shaking David's third hand. I had a flashback of my whole life, you know what I'm saying, of everything I went to, of losing my mom, my grandma, my grandpa. And, you know, it was a tough process because now everything that I work for and the people that I work for are not there no more, you know what I'm saying? I still have my sister, you know, which is everything. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, hey, I would love to have some of these problems some of these guys got. I mean, a lot of problems, guys, you know, you've been here all week, you hear them about, oh, my mom is asking me for this, my dad is asking me for that. So I wouldn't mind having those problems right now.
And then there's Dallas Mavericks rookie Bernard James, who dropped out of his high school in Savannah, Georgia, and got his GED so he could enlist in the United States Air Force to avoid the dangers of his neighborhood. James served in the Air Force for a total of 6 years, and during that time did 3 tours of duty in Iraq, Kuwait, and Qatar before landing a basketball scholarship at Florida State, which eventually cleared the way for his NBA career. It really strikes me because you said that you made this decision to go into the military to avoid some of the things that were happening on the streets of Savannah, but then you went into the military where you were going to go to war.
Yeah.
Did you make that kind of judgment that war would be safer than life in Savannah?
Yeah, to an extent, just because, you know, I grew up in a military family, my father being in the military, so I got to see firsthand what the military does to a person and how they prepare you for any situation that you'll face. It's not like that on the streets. You know, you come up against things that you haven't been prepared for, you haven't received training for. There's no manual to tell you how to handle certain situations that you'll deal with as an adolescent or a young male. You know, in the military, they give you a handbook. They'll tell you exactly how to handle every single situation. So you know what you need to do in any situation, and you know what the people around you are doing in any situation. And I mean, when you know exactly what's going on, situations are a lot easier to handle and they're a lot less stressful.
When you went into the military, you served, you did 3 tours of duty. There were people around you that you knew that were killed. You actually had at least one incident where you could tell me about that incident.
So it was a mortar attack when I was at Camp Bucca, Iraq. It was in southern Iraq near the Kuwaiti border. We got mortared one day in September 2007, and I mean, the shell landed pretty close to me. You know, got knocked on my butt. My hearing was like all messed up for like a day and a half. 6 detainees got killed, another 67 were injured. You know, no Americans or coalition forces were hurt, but it was just kind of a disaster zone for, you know, about 5 or 6 hours, just trying to get everything back in control and you know, take care of all the detainees that were injured or killed.
James, Davis, and Robinson will be joined in the NBA by Bradley Beal, a 19-year-old standout from the University of Florida, who achieved a 3.8 grade point average before leaving for the NBA after his freshman year. It's a big transition for you. You're an overnight millionaire. You realize that?
Yeah, it's actually coming into realization now. I mean, growing up, this is something you always dream about, and to actually see it happening before my eyes is a blessing and an honor, honestly. And I'm really just taking it all in. I'm glad to be in the position I'm in now.
Do you have an idea of what your first check will be?
No, not yet, honestly, besides the advance that they give us from Summer League and things like that. But my first check, I don't know how much it'll be. I haven't even done the calculations yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a big number.
And knowing that it will be that big number, how does that affect your psychology? You know, it's just as somebody who you played a freshman one season,
right, and
then you went into the NBA. How does that affect you as a young man?
It'll be very different because in college, you know, you don't get that much money. In high school, I mean, $100 was a lot to you, and now you see that times, I mean, about 5 or 10 now. So, I mean, it's real difficult to actually
Like, you have to learn how to actually save your money, and that's a big thing in this business, honestly, because you see a lot of guys who are unfortunate and end up bankrupt or something like that. So it's real smart. There's always a process of just being smart with your money.
So all of this is about helping you maximize your opportunity.
The NBA's Bantam hopes to help these players confront any fears and insecurities they may have about NBA life.
There's a mixture of some expert presenters and expert in different fields, but I think that one of the things that helps drive it home is when we incorporate current players and former players who not only repeat the messages that they get from the experts, but also share with them some of their own personal experiences in dealing with those very same issues that these young guys are going to face.
Does being an NBA player really position you to get opportunities that you might not have gotten in business had you not been in the NBA? One example, LeBron James. He picked up the phone and called Warren Buffett and has Warren Buffett as a mentor. Is that something that a lot of NBA players could do?
Well, yeah, and that's one of the things that we teach our young players from day one is to utilize their celebrity. There's a lot of people that want to meet them. There's a lot of people that want to touch them, that want to get close to them. And we tell them, you know, go beyond the autograph signing and just shaking hands and try to meet some of these people and find out what they're into, what their interests are. Try to determine what you're interested in and tap into some of these people that are successful in other areas of life, and you can learn from them, you can connect with them, you can network with them. And the best time to do it is now, while you're a celebrity and while they want to meet you. Because once you get out of the game, it's a different story, as you well know, and then you're trying to get meetings, you're knocking on people's door, and while you're in the league, they'll be knocking on your door.
With stories of the post-career success of players like Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan circulating constantly in the media, it's difficult to find a young NBA player who's not thinking about becoming the next post-NBA mogul.
You know, Magic, he continually have money coming in, you know, and you know, I think, you know, there's a difference between rich and being wealthy. You know, rich is you have a lot of money. You know, wealthy you steady you have a constant amount of money coming in every day. You're making money, and that's the way I want to be. You know, that's always I dreamed about. You know, I think if I keep working hard, you know, invest in the right things, and I think I can be, you know, just like Magic.
How do you prepare for that? Because there's so many bad investments that can be made too. So many players make bad investments. So how do you kind of shield yourself from that?
And that's what an investment is. It's a risky situation. You know, if a company's doing well, you know, the first 6 months, you know, and after that they can hit rock bottom. You know, so you know it's pros and cons that come with that, but it's all about risk taking. And sometimes you might hit the lotto. You know, sometimes you might not. So.
What do you expect to do in your post-career, and how will you use the NBA experience to position you to do that?
Well, my heart is in, I think, the restaurant industry. I really would love to open like a high-end restaurant, but you know, I know that that industry is so volatile, and you know, so many businesses fail that you know, I'm kind of weighing that right now. And you know, I was in security when I was in the Air Force, so you know, I'm actually going to use, you know, the opportunities that I have right now to network with people, to meet some people in the security industry, and you know, possibly pursue that avenue.
Post-career, man, I'm going to start preparing myself now. You know, I want to be a businessman.
You're going to go back and get your degree?
Yeah, I'm only a couple hours away, so you know, there's no reason for me not to get that. And
what will your degree be in?
African American Studies. So you know, I want to be successful after basketball. I want to be a businessman. I want to be looked at one day as, oh, he used to play basketball, but now he owns this company, he owns that, he does this for these people. And I want to be that person, you know, because guys that I look up to that made it from tough situations and then flipped it, and then you forgot they either play basketball, you forgot that they even rapped, or, you know what I'm saying, because they got their hands in everything, and it brings back income for you, it brings back, you know, all types of attention from, you know, different sources. And
it doesn't work out for everybody, that dry staff. What are you going to do to protect yourself?
I'm going to prepare, I'm going to educate myself, like I said, you know, to get ready for that. I think it doesn't happen for a lot of guys because they don't want it. You know what I'm saying? Just as hard as I work for basketball, it's just as hard as I'm going to work to become a businessman. So I mean, hopefully if I stick to that, it should work. You know what I mean? That's what they say.
But just like for any hopeful entrepreneur, business ventures fail more often than they succeed. And without formal business training and background, the road will be even more challenging to navigate. How do they sift and winnow through the various people and the various opportunities that get presented to them? You know, one of the things that I hear so many of them say is that they all want to be in business. They want to be like Magic Johnson. They want to be like George Foreman. But you really have to be prepared for that, and you have to also not make bad decisions in business.
Yeah, well, we encourage them to, first of all, you know, take some time and put together a good financial team that includes an advisor, a financial planner, an accountant, a lawyer. And many times those people can help you sift through the legitimate offers, the legitimate opportunities as well. And if not, my staff and what we do in player development and in our career development program is help players understand, A, how to decide what you're interested in. And if you are, we use our resources because as a global company, we have a lot of connections with people in various different types of businesses. And if you're interested in any of those businesses, we can make that connection for you. We can have you job shadow different people. We can have you meet different people. And I think the important thing before you get into a business as an entrepreneur is to find out, basically, do you really like that business? And what does it take to be successful in that business? Because many times you're just looking at it from the outside and you don't really know what it takes to, and you may not be as interested in it after you find out exactly what it takes to be successful in it.
How does it affect you when you hear a tease on a media organization that says, and up next, former NBA player involved in controversy? What goes through your mind as the person that's charged with helping these young men? Many of the people that you've spoken with already that have come to this very program, when they get in trouble, how does that affect you?
Well, you know, it doesn't bother me as much as you may think, because having done this for a while, I realize that it comes with the territory, that you're going to have these instances. And the fact of the matter is that it doesn't happen more frequently with NBA players than it does with the general population. I mean, anything that a person can get into.
Is that something that you've studied, or is that just an anecdotal observation?
It's been
Do you really
mainly
feel that way?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. I mean, in any given year, even with our current players, in any given year, you probably won't have anything more than 4 or 5 incidents where a player gets himself into a situation that causes problems for him publicly. And if you take any group of 19 to 25-year-olds in any profession where there's money involved, there's celebrity involved, I think you're going to have a much higher percentage of people getting in trouble.
And not even with celebrity and money, just magnify what the average 19-year-old
That's just at that stage of their growth and maturity, you're going to have people making bad decisions. So I think that our guys are actually pretty good when you talk about the pressure that's on them, the scrutiny that's on them, the coverage they get. I think that the kind of programs that we put in place for them and the mentoring that they get, both from our group in player development and from the former players that they're associated with, the current players that they're associated with on their teams, I think helps them to actually navigate this a lot better than the average person.
And even when they're doing the right thing, these players are under constant scrutiny, even as they walk down the street.
I was in London, you know, this past couple months, weeks, and minding my own business, walking past a club. It was like 11, 12 at night. The only time we were really free. And I was walking with one of the Nike guys, and we just walking, you know, looking around London, see how it is at night. And some guys, some random photographer, takes a picture of me walking past this club and said I was coming out of the club.
Oh man! So
I had on like sweatpants and running shoes and t-shirt. Like, you can't even get in the club with that type of gear on. So it was just funny, like what guys do, just try to ruin your reputation.
You look at all the best players in our league. I mean, you can start at the top. You know, the LeBron Jameses, the Dwayne Wades, the Carmelo Anthonys, they were all in this program 7, 8 years ago, and they were all confused young men, not knowing exactly what was going to be expected of them, and now they're all pretty much flourishing and having a pretty good time as professional basketball players.
But before getting to the veteran level, there will be new cars and houses.
Every guy in this program has a car before they even have a house. I know all the guys on my team have cars, and we have no place in New Orleans to stay right now. Still looking. But every guy's going to get a car because they think that car defines them.
So what did you get?
I actually got a Mercedes-Benz and an S550. They think the car defines them. So whatever car you're driving, that's how people look at you nowadays. So guys going to get this $100,000 car, $150,000 car, probably $500,000 car, just so people can say, oh man.
But at some point you have to know when to stop.
Most definitely. Like most guys about 7, 8 cars. Me, all I need is a car and a truck.
Okay.
And I really just need a car, but I want to get a truck because when my family come in to New Orleans, I don't want to try to squish one in the car, So, I think that truck's going to be useful. So I don't really need all these cars.
When you come in to this money, you seem like you're a smart guy in terms of being conservative. You've already said that. But what are the things that you absolutely have to have now? You got to have I see you have the earrings. Those are black diamonds, right?
Right, yeah.
What are the things that you really want, that you've always wanted?
I've always wanted to get my parents a house, honestly. It probably won't be this year, but sometime in the near future. And always just have a nice car, honestly. I'm not a type of guy that likes all the flashy stuff like earrings all the time or watches, but I do like to treat myself nice.
Okay, so what kind of car will it be?
I don't know yet. I haven't even thought about it.
You have to have some choices. You haven't thought about it.
It's a few. I mean,
you've thought about it.
I don't even know. Maybe a Benz, Range Rover, some Escalade or Denali or something like that.
Okay, so even that's conservative. It's not like you're going out and buying yourself a Bugatti.
No, my mom wouldn't let me drive one of those anyway, probably.
Okay. Banham says the player's desire for luxury is not all that different from how many of us feel, not just those in the NBA. In a celebrity-driven culture, almost any young person is going to be enamored with status symbols, those material goods that scream success and make a very bold statement to the world.
Our society now is pretty much focused on instant celebrity, and people can become famous and rich for a time, basically being talented at doing nothing. And we just try to impress upon them that, you've been given this opportunity. You're obviously a talented person. You've gotten this far because you are talented in the sport of basketball. But this sport, this life is very short-lived. Even if you are great at basketball, you're going to leave this game at a relatively young age.
What is the average career?
The average career is less than 5 years. It's anywhere from 4.5 to 4.8 years. And if you're lucky and play 10 years, you're going to be done at 30. And you still have another 50 years of your life to live. And rather than try to look at it in terms of how can you make this money last for 50 years, we try to impress upon them that you want to start off with a good financial base by being fiscally responsible and saving some of your money and making wise investments. But at the same time, you also want to continue to grow as an individual so that you can be something for those 50 years that you have left on this earth and not be a former player trying to play off of his celebrity.
But while they're in the NBA, these young men say they're going to take advantage of the abundance of professional opportunities that will surely come their way.
By the end of the program, we have a thing that we do where each team elects to send up a captain, and they have to summarize what they've learned and what they've gotten out of the program. And in every instance, it's rewarding to hear them say that they didn't think they needed to be here, but they're thankful that they're here. They're thankful that they came, that they learned a lot, and they now feel that they're better equipped to embark upon their professional career. That's what we come here for. That's why we're here. And it's rewarding to hear them realize it because, these kids, if nothing else, they keep it real. And if they didn't feel that way, they would find a way to get up there and say something other than what they say. They would not give us that satisfaction just for the heck of it.
Armed with the knowledge that he had the intellect to get that 3.8 GPA in college, Bradley Beal isn't too worried about his future. Well, how old are you, 20 years old?
I'm 19.
19 years old, getting ready to go into the NBA. It's a great time for you?
It really is, honestly. I'm just really enjoying it all. I mean, it's me sitting back and realizing my dream is right here, and I just have to just make sure I'm on the right path.
For the Business of Celebrity, I'm Lee Hawkins.
I just wanted to distance myself from that stuff before, I really made a mistake that would ruin the rest of my life.
My first check, I don't know how much it'll be. I haven't even done the calculations yet, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a big number.
My agent and my parents thought it was a good idea, trademarked it. My financial advisor got involved, trademarked it.
It was painful. You know what I mean? I enjoyed the process. Like, I enjoyed draft night, but I had a flashback, like in the matter of me walking from my chair to shaking Davis' hand. I had a flashback of my whole life, you know what I'm saying?